Welcome to day 17 of our Lent reflections taken from this book by Ros Clark, 40 Women. And the woman that we are finding out about today is called Delilah, and her story can be found in the book of Judges in chapter 16. After this, Samson fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The lords of the Philistines came to her and said to her, "Coax him, and find out what makes his strength so great, and how we may overpower him, so that we may bind him in order to subdue him, and we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me what makes your strength so great, and how you could be bound, so that one could subdue you." Samson said to her, "If they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that are not tried out, then I shall become weak and be like anyone else." Then the lords of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not tried out, and she bound him with them. While men were lying in wait in an inner chamber, she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he snapped the bowstrings, as a strand of fibre snaps when it touches the fire. So the secret of his strength was not known. Then Delilah said to Samson, "You have mocked me and told me lies. Please tell me how you could be bound." He said to her, "If they bind me with new ropes that have not been used, then I shall become weak and be like anyone else." So Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them, and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." The men lying in wait were in an inner chamber. But he snapped the ropes of his arms like a thread. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me how you could be bound." He said to her, "If you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web and make it tight with the pin, then I shall become weak and be like anyone else." So while he slept, Delilah took the 7 locks of his head and wove them into the web and made them tight with a pin. Then she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he awoke from his sleep and pulled away the pin, the loom, and the web. Then she said to him, "How can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me 3 times now and have not told me what makes your strength so great." Finally, after she had nagged him with her words day after day and pestered him, he was tired to death. So he told her the whole secret and said to her, "A razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If my head were shaved, then my strength would leave me. I would become weak and be like anyone else." When Delilah realized that he had told her his whole secret, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, "Is this time come up? For he has told his whole secret to me." Then the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hands. She let him fall asleep on her lap, and she called a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. He began to weaken, and his strength left him. Then she said, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." When he awoke from his sleep, he thought, "I will go out as at other times and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. So the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes. They brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles, and he ground at the mill in the prison. But the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Love makes us all vulnerable. Maybe that's even what love is. Willingly making yourself vulnerable to someone else. Letting them in deeply enough to change you, to touch you, and to hurt you. Love made Samson vulnerable. The great and mighty hero, Samson, was a strong man who had been known to tear apart the city gate with his bare hands. He'd been blessed by God since his birth. He was clever and handsome, and everything he wanted fell into his lap. He seemed invulnerable. But he'd been stung before. His first wife, a Philistine woman, had tried to coax his secrets out of him so that the Philistines could use them against them. The plan backfired, and she ended up being used by them in revenge against him. He'd liked his first wife well enough. She'd been his own choice, but she turned out to be a bad choice for him. So there's Samson, strong and mighty on the outside, but a little bit sore and tender on the inside. And there's Delilah, a Philistine woman from the valley of Sorek, but a beautiful woman nonetheless. Samson falls in love. Delilah, on the other hand, sees an opportunity. The Philistines want to know Samson's weak point. He's too strong for them and too clever for them, and he's repeatedly proved that. But surely he'll tell Delilah how he can be defeated. He loves her. He'll make himself vulnerable for her. For 1,100 shekels of silver from each Philistine ruler, Delilah will do it. She's not subtle about it in her first approach to him. Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued. Samson is not going to let another woman be his undoing after what happened in his first marriage. So he lies to her. And again the next night and the next. But Delilah is not giving up. Just think of all those lovely silver shekels that will be hers. One way or another, she'll get him to tell her his secret. Nagging and prodding and poking him about it every day until he was sick to death of it. Like a dripping tap, she wears away at him until, in the end, he gives in. This is Delilah's moment. She sends for the Philistines and a barber. And the moment Samson is asleep, she acts. She exposes his weakness through her persistent nagging. She waits for him to sleep to expose it further. And she exploits his weakness, calling on the Philistine leaders to take advantage of him. If only he hadn't loved Delilah. If only he hadn't laid himself bare, exposing his deepest weakness and trusting her not to exploit them. And for what? I dare say those silver shekels made a hard pillow for Delilah to rest her head on each night. And so our reflection questions for today. How does love make you vulnerable? Does your love for Christ make you vulnerable? Why is money such a powerful temptation for people? Where do you need to guard against temptation in your life? And so let us pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for your love, which was so strong you were willing to make yourself vulnerable, even vulnerable to death. Thank you that loving you never means making ourselves vulnerable, because we know that you will never take advantage, you will never betray us, and you will never harm us. May we rest secure in that love forever. Amen.